Meeting in order, please stand.
He's going to shut us up.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Amen. Okay. Can we have roll call?
Maria Mills-Benet. Here. Joel Bofamy. Tom Jordan. Lance Green.
Here.
Newton White.
Here.
Stan Schmidt.
Here.
Chair John Junko.
Here. Can we have a consideration of minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call?
Maria Mills-Benet.
Yes.
Lance Green.
Yes.
Newton White.
Yes.
Stan Schmidt.
Yes.
Chair John Junko.
Yes. Okay, item, case number 21-65000001, application plan commercial development rezoning Dunlawton storage plan commercial development. All right. And, hey Gwen.
Gwen Perney, planner. The applicant is requesting to rezone 6.21 acres from agriculture to planned commercial development and approval of the Dunlawton Storage PCD Master Development and Conceptual Development Plan. The subject property is located along the south side of Dunlawton, west of Spruce Creek Road. Currently, the property is zoned agriculture. The agriculture zoning district generally serves as a placeholder until the property owner proposes to rezone to a category compatible with the future land use of the property, which is currently office residential transition. The property is also located within the Eastport Business Center CRA, which includes that entire block. The site is vacant and has never been developed. The Dunlawton Storage PCD Master Development Agreement and Conceptual Development Plan sets up the framework for development of the property, including dimensional requirements and setbacks for the buildings. There will be a proposed two-story building with office retail on the ground floor and self-storage on the first and second floor. One-story self-storage buildings, and then covered canopy buildings for boat and RV storage, as well as access and parking, stormwater and landscaping, and required easements. And the dimensional requirements for the property are similar to the office residential transition and professional office zoning districts, which would also be compatible with this site. The main entrance will be along Dunlawton Avenue. There will be no access along Oak Street. There's an existing cross-access point at the rear of the property, along with the Florida Healthcare building. That is proposed to be emergency access only for emergency vehicles, or if the Dunlawton entrance is blocked for some reason. And there will be a proposed cross-access with the Politis building at the front of the property. The applicant is also requesting turn lanes from DOT along Dunlawton, including a left turn in for westbound traffic and a decel lane for eastbound traffic entering the site. The parking will be based on land development code requirements for multi-tenant building and self-storage. And then capacity exists along Dunlawton in this area for any trips generated by the project. And the PCD proposes a 20-foot buffer along Dunlawton Avenue, which is per code a 50-foot along Oak Street, which is an increase over the 10 feet required by code, and then 5 feet on either side. And new landscaping will supplement any required buffer areas. There's one policy issue with the PCD, which is a request to provide 60% specimen tree preservation in lieu of the 80% required by code. And essentially the applicant is requesting to preserve the 3 trees, which will be in a tree protection area, including a historic oak, and then to remove 2 trees central to the site. So it would be a deviation, essentially, of 1 tree. And if the policy issue is approved, the applicant is proposing to mitigate the loss of the trees by planting an additional 10 upsized shade trees in the Oak Street buffer in lieu of a mitigation payment. And other general site improvements would include city water, sewer, and reclaimed water available to the site. They're proposing to provide a stormwater pond along the east side of the property. The architecture of the buildings will be generally consistent with Florida vernacular style, and the storage buildings will be required to be compatible with the main building. And the back of the storage buildings that face out towards the site will serve as part of the screening wall, similar to other storage sites that have been recently approved. And they are proposing to install a continuation of the 5-foot sidewalk on Oak Street. Staff is recommending approval of the rezoning to PCD and approval of the Master Development Agreement and Conceptual Development Plan, subject to the approval of the policy issue to allow 60% specimen tree preservation in lieu of the 80% required by code. And I'm available for questions.
Okay. Lance, you want to start?
Who owns the lots all to the east of this? Are these all individual lots that are to the east side of this particular project?
Along Spruce Creek,
Yeah.
the city, I believe, owns all of them.
All of them?
Yep.
All right, that's all I got right now.
Good.
No, I'm good.
Stan?
I think right now I'm good.
Maria?
I'm good.
I'm curious because I see the current proposed zoning,
Mhm.
and on the properties, I would guess to the east, parallel to the Spruce Creek Road, I see all of them except for 2 lots agriculture, and then you have 2 that are like zoned what are they? 2-family residence. How does the zoning get so kind of?
It could be a glitch on the map. I'd have to get back to you on that one.
I was like, how do you let 2 houses and then
Yeah, I'm
everything
sure
else?
it wasn't on purpose.
I'm like, how does that happen? And then again, with the Oak Street, because you have a residential area of the Kokomo Circle, is that 50-foot vegetation barrier basically going to be comfortable? Have you reached out to the people at the Kokomo Circle?
The applicant was required to hold a neighborhood meeting.
Oh, good.
And quite a few of them attended. We also reached out to them by email to notify them of the
Okay,
meeting
so there was
tonight,
a
so-
group effort to reach
Mhm.
out to them.
Yeah, I think that all their comments got addressed at that
Okay.
meeting.
I do like, I think Newton likes that you have the cross-access between the 2 lots. Did you see that? So that's nice. No, that's all I have right now. Does the tenant want to, or the applicant want to come up?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Rob Merrill with Cobb Cole, 149 South Ridgewood. I've got a host of folks here with me, and I want to introduce Debbie LaCroix from my office, Parker Minchenberg, Scott Vancourt, and his daughter Paris, Sands Lassiter, and you guys probably know this guy, Jake Johansson.
Who?
Yeah, that's why we're not gonna approve
he's,
this.
He's the famous guy in the room.
Well,
So
you
we
just
brought him
got- you
along.
just
Brought him
got
along
denied
for
the vote because of that.
We brought him
I
for
was
good
gonna say,
karma. You know how he is, right? He brings that energy with him.
Yeah.
Well, everybody makes one
But
mistake.
so, just so you know, none of the folks that came to the neighborhood meeting are the group in the back here. These are all our team, and so
Okay.
we've been working on this with your staff for quite some time. And you know, when somebody like Gwen gives a good presentation to you and a great package, there's not a whole lot that I can add to it. I'll add a couple of things and tell you that. You know, we did have that neighborhood meeting. We talked about the interface with the neighbors over there to the south. We went from a 10-foot buffer to a 50-foot buffer. This is essentially a use that is just the perfect thing to go on this particular piece of property, other than maybe a public park, which is not going to happen, I wouldn't think, unless you guys wanted to buy it. But at the end of the day, it's a very quiet use. It's completely secured. Scott Vancourt and his company have done a lot of these around the area. Very successfully. Every city that they've done it is very happy to have them. He puts an architectural element to it that's beyond what you would expect for a self-storage facility, hence the rendering that's in front of you. Can you guys see this okay? I've got handouts if you wanted them, but
They're in here.
that kind of gives you the look of it. And you know, so he's trying to, you know, go above and beyond from an architectural standpoint. Scott is a tree guy. Been that way for a long time in all the developments he's done, got a great reputation and track record. So I think that's important. You know, this isn't somebody coming from out of town to do this. This is somebody who's been here for many years, developing in the area. The the idea about self-storage, I think, has changed a lot over the years. I've done a whole lot of these projects myself over the years, and they've changed. This essentially looks like a beautiful either apartment building or office building or something that otherwise, when you're going down Dunlop, just looks good on the corridor. And so with the proper buffering, landscaping and such that we've got along with the architecture, this is about the best use you could have for many reasons. One, very few traffic impacts. I mean, so when you look at the statistics on this, and that's why we got our guy Sans Lassiter here with us, there are far fewer cars going in and out of a self-storage facility than just about anything. Certainly less than a single-family residence. So at the end of the day, it's quiet, it's secure, it is very low traffic generator. And by the way, I need to mention that the tax base will be substantial. And being in the Eastport CRA, this money doesn't go over to the county. Half of it goes right into the CRA fund. So this is a huge boost for you guys from every respect. I think we've checked off all the boxes, and you know, Gwen has given you a great report with all the comprehensive plan consistency and the criteria in your land development code. So if you have any questions for us, we got the whole team assembled here, and we're happy to try to answer them.
All right, you want to start with Marie first?
I don't really have any questions. I'm pretty happy to see something going on that property. I was best friends growing up with the daughter of the man who owned this property since dinosaurs walked the earth, it seems like. So I'm super happy somebody's finally willing to do something with it, and it's not just going to sit there anymore, and I think it looks really good. So
Thank you.
Lance?
Well, I used to ride my horses on that property many years ago, but you're right, Rob. I think that the concept of self-storage over the years has changed. It has for me, and I look at it as a plus now, because when I talk about traffic, you know, my number one thing is going to be the traffic. You know that. We might get a little more traffic on there than you think with the retail, but overall as a whole, traffic-wise, it's probably the best you can get. And I'm glad to see that we are. I mean, one of my main things, as you know, is the landscape buffer, and I looked at this plan thoroughly, and the buffer is something that is right in line, and that's what I'm pleased with. So I'm pleased with this one. But it's a good look. It's a good look.
Good. Thanks.
Newton?
One question about the rendering here. I'm looking at it on my computer screen a little bit more detailed. How much of that is faux decoration, and how much of it is really going to be like the Bahama style shutters and stuff like that? You're not going to turn around and put something that's all painted on the side of the building.
No, what you see is what you get there. So with a PD, I think you guys know the graphic exhibits as well as the written development agreement all become, you know, part of our approval and binding on us. So you know, Scott is hired an architect to come up with this plan. He looked at all the things you guys have been doing in Port Orange with the Florida vernacular, and that's what he came up with. So that's what we're going to build.
Okay, I'm just asking that for the record because I've
Sure.
seen in other areas where the aesthetics of the building were pretty much fake, painted on into the stucco, and not something that's going to look nice and endure over time or be maintained. So that
No bait and switch going on.
no
here,
bait and
so,
switch going
no.
on there.
Simulated the word. you're looking for.
Simulated.
Except that car. They might bait and switch that car in the parking lot. So.
That's Rob's.
I don't have a minivan, I promise. I'm a pickup truck guy.
Other than that, the only thing I would say is that it does not bring more front doors into the community. It doesn't increase the expanding population, and it serves the people that are already here. And as long as we keep building houses on 5,500 square foot lots, people are going to need places like this to keep their stuff.
Yeah, and I think we found that as a company, Scott knows that the service he's providing in part is getting people's junk out of their garage so their cars can go in there, right? Or their boats that are not supposed to be in the side yard, you know, stored in the boat storage area. So there's that plus that I didn't mention. So
Yeah,
I think
well,
it's important too.
I've got a lot of apartment condominium type units going in as well, and that's going to serve these people well. So
Yep.
that serves the community well as too, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thanks.
Stan?
The only thing I was thinking of, and this probably doesn't really affect what we have to do, but so is there some kind of traffic control then, so that people can't just go in
Yeah.
the backyard? You got to have some way to
It's a gate.
protect.
So
that
it's
stuff.
completely enclosed with one gate, one way in and one way out.
The the person that's paying the rent will have a card or some kind of
Card,
deal.
yeah.
And then, as far as wind protection, stuff like that, are these sheds that, where you just have the roof, is that
Everything's hurricane.
pretty secure, so you
secure.
don't have to worry about finding them in the post office lot?
Building code requires it, you know, so you absolutely.
That's what I thought, just
Yep.
kinda wanted to ask. Other than that, yeah, I mean, I was concerned about, you know, what's gonna end up on Dunlawton, and I think this looks like a great addition. And, you know, we're close enough to the river, so that'd be handy for people to grab it and go instead of running way out west, so, it looks good to me.
Good. Is there going to be any kind of a perimeter fence by the Oak Street, over the vegetation barrier? PVC fence or something?
The fencing will be interior to the buffer
Okay.
towards the self-storage. So in other words, the building itself on the south side will be the wall, if you will,
Mhm.
and then it'll extend such that you basically have a barrier. The buffering will all be in the 50 feet
Okay,
on the
what
neighbor's
kind of
side.
fence is it gonna be?
So what's planned for everything other than the wall, which is most of it, is wrought iron style
Okay,
fencing.
Okay.
You know, so
So is
decorative.
it gonna have a black fabric behind it, or?
So I don't think any fabric, it's just,
Oh,
Okay.
it's solid?
So
So
we-
visually, the people from Oak Street probably won't be able to see
well,
storage or?
they're gonna
or-
see green. So
Okay,
we got 50
cool.
feet of green
Okay.
that's either existing or planted.
All right.
And we've, like Gwen mentioned, the trees that we're putting there to upsize for the one tree we were taking out is I think 10 trees that are at least 4-inch caliper and 14 feet tall. So that's a pretty substantial tree to put in there. With those added to the trees that are there, they're not gonna see much of anything other than green. Which, you know, when they came out, we explained that to them and they were very happy to hear about that.
Yeah, those are common questions when we have storage units come across our desk, so, no, I think you sorted everything out. The fact that there's no representation from the neighborhood says a good thing. Everyone was content,
Yeah.
nobody was upset, and especially aesthetically, driving on Dunlawton, you drive by that does not look like a storage unit. It looks like a very decorative
nice
office
office
building.
building,
I mean, old style storage units with just single car garages just stacked up together facing the road. And
Yeah.
they
It's
were
the
an
old days.
eyesore. And
Yeah.
obviously you took great steps to design that. So my, I like what the architect did. It was very nice, and it's definitely going to enhance the city. Other than that, I have no questions. It's very well done, nice presentation. At this point in time, is there anybody in the public that would like to stand up and talk?
We don't have any.
No, had to say it, had to say it. All right, well then, with that being said, I'd like to hear a motion with staff recommendations.
Move to approve case number 2165000001 with staff recommendations.
Second,
Okay, may we have a roll call, please?
Maria Mills Benet.
yes.
Lance Green.
Yes.
Newton White.
Yes.
Stan Schmidt.
Yes.
Chair John Junko.
Yes. It was a
Thanks so much
pleasure.
for your time, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice, looking forward to that project. You guys can leave now if you want.
You guys gotta stay for the whole meeting.
Yeah.
All 3 more minutes
more
of
hours.
it.
I was gonna say, they were the whole meeting.
I'll let them leave, and then
I feel
we'll
like I
listen
have
to what
put
Lance
these
has to
down.
say.
Well,
Jake getting paid for this?
Yeah.
He's on his staff. It's a little sketchy. It's me? Staff?
Well, I'm gonna open up with commissioner comments. Lance, go for it.
I got none.
You got nothing.
What?
Boy, I don't even.
What?
This is no fun today, Lance.
What is wrong
No,
down
no
there?
Newton?
I would like to take a moment from this position to say thank you to the Port Orange Fire Department and specifically Lieutenant Bevins that spoke to me on the telephone. My wife had an incident, and the Port Orange Fire Department handled it wonderfully and very professionally, and I thank them.
Nice.
That's all I have today.
Awesome.
What's the matter, Scott? You're not getting paid unless you speak?
Well, no, I was gonna grab my
Oh, we were gonna keep that for collateral. Make sure you do everything we
Scott
want.
doesn't get a
That's all right.
paycheck unless he speaks, so.
Thank you very much.
Stan, do you have
Scott.
anything you'd like to add?
just kinda gonna ask the dreaded question of, how's the fish going?
The fish.
The restaurant?
Oh, the fish. Oh,
The
okay.
fish.
Come
'Cause
on
we were
down,
told
Tim.
on
You're
more
the
than one
Price is
occasion
Right.
they'd be done by September. Of what year, we're not sure, but
Ooh.
Tim Burman Community Development is currently under construction right now. We basically got the floor poured, and they will be starting to do the CMU block walls possibly tomorrow or early next week then, is we are at with that one. And you are correct, it's got a deadline of September 20th, 2021.
21. Wow, dang.
If
They're
it
probably
stays
gonna,
dry,
they're
they-
gonna extend it.
they stay dry and
No,
they can work
they're gonna
21
extend it
hours.
because shortage of windows, shortage of materials, I don't see
Do they
that.
have to come back to us for an extension?
There's two options in there. There's basically one was written into the MDA that they got to the point where the rough-in inspections, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing rough-in inspections were held, approved. They could apply for a 6-month extension to council, but if they're not to that point, they will have to basically amend the MDA. So there's a chance that you may be seeing that next month there.
Very likely.
We might be just covering our bases and doing everything at once to keep cover them, but you might be seeing that next month.
Yeah, and don't forget, they're trying. I mean, I'm waiting 18 months for windows.
Well, I mean,
It's getting crazy.
You know,
that's crazy, exactly.
Construction
this has
materials
been
right
the
now are
story
hard
of
to
that thing since before they started it, so I'm not
But as
very
long
happy.
as you see they're spending money developing it, they're going in a positive direction.
I see
And
work
it's,
going
it's
on, that's
awful,
what I
but
think.
it
I
is.
see work going
And
on
oh,
all the
by the
time.
Yeah,
way,
I go by
I'm
there
not-
every week.
Guys,
I'm just-
can't all speak at once, sorry.
That's Johnny's turn.
no, it was Dan. Stan has the
That
floor.
that was
You
it,
tell
I
him.
just,
You had, okay, Newton, you had something to add to
wondering
that?
what's going on.
I'm happy to see
You good?
something, I'm happy to see something coming up out of
Yeah.
the ground, but I'm not pleased at the pace at which they get things started.
In 30 years, I have never seen a number of surveyors telling me they're no longer taking any new work. That's how
Oh,
bad things are, okay? So if you have to do some preliminary work and you have a survey and surveys are saying sorry and you're waiting 6 months for surveys, this adds to the delays and it's just outside of the contractor's control. So I'm living it, and Lance, I'm sure, is seeing it firsthand too. It is sad, but it's a booming economy for construction, and it's just the bad side of it is the delays that we have. Marie, you have anything to add?
No, when do we get rid of these? That's my only question. Although
We'll have to have a planning commission meeting to.
I mean, like
approve
all
it.
the
That-
6
that'll be-
foot
that'll be
apart
an
from
item
the
next
seats
month.
are gone, but
It's a nice sneeze guard.
and today I look like I have the cooties because Tom and Bo aren't here. So.
Now we're all waving at you. Like,
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm good.
Can we get an update on the road closure over on Devon Street? They're doing some kind of work on there and the.
Yeah, basically, I believe it's some regular roadway maintenance there.
Uh-huh.
I think it basically was about a 4 to 6 week project then. I think it's like halfway through then.
Oh, really? It's gonna take that long?
Yeah, I know that we had indicated on the social media, had made some posts down there from the city's meeting there then with the detour map then. But it's basically more of a maintenance project there that had to be done
Okay.
on that way.
Yeah.
And the point of having it at this point too was to get it done basically not during your school hours
Right.
then.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. What exactly are they doing?
I would have to get,
Okay.
that's held by Public Works then. We can get something and shoot it over to you then.
I
I'll
was
let your email so
curious.
you got it then.
I live on that road.
Well,
It
you know,
doesn't
it's-
affect me too much.
Well, you know,
but-
John, it's hard to get surveyors and materials and
Trust me,
stuff, and
you
they're
don't know the
trying, they're
half.
really, really trying hard.
You don't know the half of it, my friend. Do we have any staff comments? Do you need to say anything, or?
No, just
Meeting
we
changes?
looks like we'll probably have a possibly a busy meeting in July.
Oh,
So
thanks for the heads up.
heads up on there.
So we should bring dinner.
At least snacks.
And any public comments? Well, with that
Well,
being
public
said,
comment.
I think we're gonna adjourn the meeting for June.